Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us as we pay tribute to those who have been wounded on the battlefield or paid the ultimate sacrifice with their lives. I am HM2 Lewis, and I will be your master of ceremony for today's ceremony. We'll start off with the invocation from the chaplain, Captain Jesus Martinez.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for bringing us together and pray that you keep blessing and protecting our heroes. We come into your presence with thankful hearts for sending angels to protect them. We give thanks for the bounty of your blessings, for the sharing between people, for the love of family, friends, and service members. As you have graciously preserved our nation through the years and have led us in wondrous ways, grant that we may be worthy of our high calling. We ask your blessing and continual safety of our loved ones. Amen.
Thank you, Captain Martinez. At this time, the director, Colonel Barr, would like to say a few words.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Colonel Jefferson, Captain Wilkers, Captain Fancher, certainly CMC Swanson, Command Sergeant Major Zach, everyone that's here, thank you for joining us today. What a wonderful opportunity. It's so appropriate and really our duty to gather together and recognize the service, the sacrifice, the dedication to duty of all of our active duty warriors, our reserve and guard warriors, who have been injured in direct contact with the enemy, those who've earned the Purple Heart through gallant action. Very appropriate for us to gather and recognize that today. Originally known as the Badge of Merit and designed by General George Washington and given for singular meritorious action, the award was redesigned in 1932 as the Purple Heart, and since 1944 has been given to service members wounded or killed in combat via enemy action. Very proud to see our joint assembly of joint warriors here today. And again, just want to thank you for your service and for your sacrifice for leading the way, and looking very forward to hearing your comments and your stories today to inspire us and allow us to remember all of those that have gone forward before us and have earned this very gallant award. So with that, thank you very much for joining us again, and looking forward to our program today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On this day, in 1782, General George Washington created the Badge of Military Merit, which today is known as the Purple Heart. Washington had long wanted an award for average soldiers who performed meritoriously in combat. From his headquarters at Newborough, New York, Washington issued an order that read in part, "The general, ever desirous to cherish virtuous ambition in his soldiers, as well as foster and encourage every species of military merit, directs that whenever any singular meritorious action is performed, the author of it shall be permitted to wear on his facings over the left breast the figure of a heart in purple cloth or silk, edged with narrow lace or binding. Not only instances of unusual gallantry, but also of extraordinary fidelity and essential services in any way shall meet with due reward." The heart-shaped purple cloth medal was originally called the Badge of Military Merit and contained the word merit surrounded by oak leaves. Those awarded the medal were to have their name recorded in a special book and were given the privilege of walking through any sentry or guard, just like officers. This was the first time a major military power awarded average soldiers for meritorious conduct in a time when awards usually went to officers. Washington's Purple Heart was awarded to only 3 known soldiers during the Revolutionary War: Elijah Churchill, William Brown, and Daniel Bissell Jr. Unfortunately, the Book of Merit was lost. The use of the Badge of Military Merit faded after the Revolutionary War, but in 1918, General John Pershing revived the idea of Badge of Merit. General Charles Summerall, United States Army Chief of Staff, pushed the idea of reviving the badge in 1927. In 1931, his successor, General Douglas MacArthur, pushed the idea further, and the United States War Department announced the creation of the Order of the Purple Heart on February 22, 1932, General George Washington's 200th birthday. The Purple Heart has undergone many changes with respect to the criteria for being awarded. At first, the Purple Heart was exclusively awarded to Army and Army Air Corps personnel and could not be awarded posthumously to next of kin. In 1942, President Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order allowing the Navy to award the Purple Heart to sailors, Marines, and Coast Guard personnel. Also in that year, the Purple Heart was made available for posthumous award to any member of the military killed on or after December 7, 1941. Originally, the Purple Heart was awarded for meritorious service. Being wounded was considered to be one type of merit. With the creation of the Legion of Merit in 1942, the award of the Purple Heart for meritorious service became unnecessary and therefore discontinued. Today, the Purple Heart is awarded in the name of the President to those wounded or killed while serving on or after April 5, 1917, with the United States military. With its forerunner, the Badge of Military Merit, the Purple Heart is the oldest military award still bestowed to United States military members. Today, it's estimated that the Purple Heart has been awarded over 1.8 million times. At this time, we would like to introduce our three guest speakers for today's ceremony. Our first guest speaker, Chief Derrick Brenstuhl, enlisted in the United States Navy in September 2003. He completed basic military training in Hospital Corpsman A School in Great Lakes, Illinois. His previous assignments include 2nd Marine Division, SENSEC 4 Learning Site Lejeune, Naval Health Clinic San Antonio, NAVMED LACOM, and NMRTC Bethesda. He currently serves as the Senior Enlisted Leader of Perioperative Services. He has deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. His military education includes Hospital Corpsman A School and Field Medical Service School. Chief Brenstuhl's personal awards include the Purple Heart, Combat Action Ribbon, as well as the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. Our second guest speaker, Staff Sergeant Timothy Kleinsmith, enlisted in the United States Army in January 2013. He completed basic military training at Fort Benning, Georgia, and graduated advanced individual training at Fort Sam Houston, where he received the MOS 68 Whiskey Combat Medic. He is currently assigned to Alpha Company, Troop Command, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Bethesda, and attached to the Defense Health Agency in Falls Church, Virginia. His previous assignments include Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, Hunter Army Airfield, Fort Bragg, and Fort Drum. Staff Sergeant Kleinsmith last deployed in 2015 through 2016 to Iraq in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Staff Sergeant Kleinsmith's personal awards include the Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal with Valor, 2 Army Commendation Medals, 6 Army Achievement Medals, the Air Force Achievement Medal, the Combat Medic Badge, Expert Field Medical Badge, Expert Infantry Badge, Air Assault Badge, and the Parachutist Badge. Our third and final guest speaker, First Sergeant Ronald Duplessis, enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in September 2002. He completed basic military training at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, South Carolina. He attended military occupational school in Fort Sam, Oklahoma, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and attended the MOS of 0811 Field Artillery Cannon Crewman. His previous assignments include 2nd Battalion, 10th Marines, MCRD Parris Island, 1st Battalion, 11th Marines, the Naval Academy, 10th Marine Regiment, and the Wounded Warrior Battalion East, Detachment Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, where he currently serves. He is deployed in support of Operation Mountain Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Operation Inherent Resolve. His military education includes 0811 Military Occupational School, Marine Corps Martial Arts Instructor Course, Marine Corps Drill Instructor School, and the Field Artillery Marine Corps Cannon Crewman Advanced Course. First Sergeant Duplessis' personal awards include the Purple Heart, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with 2 gold stars and a combat distinguishing device, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal with 2 gold stars, and the Combat Action Ribbon with 1 gold star. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our first guest speaker, Chief Brenstuhl.
Good afternoon, thank you. Afternoon, Captain Wilkers, Captain Francher, Colonel Jefferson, Colonel Barr, CMC Swanson, and Sergeant Major Zach. Thank you for asking me to come speak today. I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to clearly walk up here with all my limbs under my own power. There's many recipients of this award that could not say that. So in 2005, I was deployed with my unit, 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines, Echo Company, to Fallujah, Iraq. We'd been conducting a raid on a possible insurgent location we had some intelligence on. After the initial clearing of the building, I'd walked outside, was talking with some other Marines, when I heard 2 Marines up the street from me begin to start screaming, "Grenade." I turned around just in time to see a frag rolling towards myself and another Marine. And I did a quick scan around. If you've ever been in Iraq, it was the typical high walls, gated community, or gated garages, nowhere to go. So I turned around, I remember thinking to myself, this is gonna suck, and waited for that blast. When the blast finally went off, I didn't feel any pain, didn't hear anything. It's kind of confusion. First time I've ever experienced auditory exclusion. I could actually hear shell casings of the Marine next to me hitting the deck as we were returning fire. At some point during all this confusion, it dawned on me that I was a corpsman and there were more than likely injured Marines up the street from me. I told the Marine I was gonna go up street and try and find these casualties. I came to the 1st Marine, assessed his injuries, we got a casualty collection point, and started treating them. It was at this time I was in mid giving the report to our platoon commander when I started feeling pain myself and realized that I was hit too. I had a Marine help me assess myself, treat me, we got it bandaged it up, and I loaded up and we exfilled that day. I was very fortunate again that my injuries were fairly minor, not permanent. To me, this medal it's not about me. This medal, when I think of it, I think of Corporal Jacobs, Corporal Lundstrom, Lance Corporal Snyder, and PFC Brown. Those are 5 of my brothers that did not come home from that deployment and will never have the opportunity to come up here and speak, such as myself. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our second guest speaker, Staff Sergeant Kleinsmith.
Good morning, everyone. To all the leadership in the room, I appreciate this opportunity to be here and speak in front of you, especially Colonel Jefferson, Sergeant Major Zach, who are in my chain of command, so it's always good to come back and be able to see them. Colonel Barr, you as well, so I appreciate it, Master Chief. I was awarded my Purple Heart back in 2016 when I was deployed with the Special Forces ODA and to northern Iraq. Just to give you an idea of what this deployment was like, it was 6 months, 190 days, in which we saw contact 125 days of 190. It was in the early morning hours after a long night on mission. We were finally getting ready to convoy back to our outpost for a little chow and finally some shut-eye. I was in the lead vehicle with my team leader and our K9 handler, as well as our Belgian Malinois, Rocco. He and I were, by the end of this deployment, very good friends. On that way back, we knew that the advance teams had cleared the road a couple days prior. Somehow, in between our trip back and that night, there had been an IED placed along that road. The IED was the beginning stage of a complex ambush which consisted of RPGs, mortars, and small arms fire on our convoy. The IED blasted on the front passenger side of the vehicle, taking the whole front of our MRAP, pretty much disabling it and separating it from the passenger compartment of the vehicle. Luckily, I was in the back left side, but I knew my team leader was up there riding passenger TC to our driver. When the blast initially went off, I had no idea what had happened, where I was, kind of what was going on. As I slowly regained consciousness and kind of reflected on what was going on and what had happened, I quickly checked on the men in my vehicle. Soon I realized that my team leader was hit hard by the blast, leaving them unconscious and severely injured. After multiple attempts to get my hands on him from the back of the vehicle, I knew I couldn't fully assess his wounds. I knew I had to exit the vehicle and try and pull him out, although his door was extremely mangled from the blast. By this time, our convoy was engaged by over 25 ISIS fighters. I radioed back to the team commander to inform him of the casualty and my plan to exit the vehicle. Needless to say, my commander was not thrilled with me exiting an armored vehicle, but to this day, I consider it one of the best decisions I ever made in the blink of an eye. I radioed for cover fire from our machine gunners and grabbed my weapon and exited the side of the vehicle. My side was luckily concealed from the firefight. I ran around the vehicle, quickly engaged 2 targets along the roadside. As I made my way to the door of our mangled vehicle, I realized I would not be able to pry this open by myself. Luckily, the blast had taken out the windshield and the driver's side window. I was able to pull my team leader through the vehicle's window and to quickly apply tourniquets as his body fell limp to the ground. As I was getting ready to move him to better cover, I felt what's a feeling I had never felt before, what seemed like getting hit in the back with a sledgehammer about 5 or 6 times. I went down to the ground, barely being able to catch my breath, and I laid there for what felt like days, but really it was just seconds. Luckily, the adrenaline kicked in, and I managed to get up and drag him the rest of the way behind the other side of the vehicle. At this time, one of the rear vehicles had pulled up and supplied us both with a great amount of cover and suppressive fire, as I was able to load him and myself into the trail MRAP. As we broke contact and set demo to our disabled vehicle, luckily we had close air support from some of our Air Force brothers, and we made it back to our outpost that night. The entire drive back, I realized I was struggling to catch my breath, and I still had not come to what had happened to me. As I exited the vehicle, one of the 18 Deltas that was there on the outpost with us said, "Doc, you're hit." And that's when I realized that sledgehammer that had hit me in the back was 4 7.62 rounds from an AK-47. I would not be here today if not for 3 simple things. 1, that great backplate that was in the back of my IOTV. That literally saved my life. 2, advanced Army medicine. Instantly, I was taken care of. We had our doctor there at the outpost, as well as a couple other hands-on that made sure that I got on the next medevac flight. But 3, I realized I never knew at the time, but as I got hit, that dog Rocco, our canine, leapt from the vehicle and took care of the assailants that were trying to shoot me. Sadly to say, our canine didn't make it. My team leader did not make it. So today, this medal that I wear on my chest, I dedicate to men like them. I consider myself lucky to stand before you today, and I've considered myself honored to be able to wear this on my uniform. But not a day goes by that I don't think of those who were awarded the medal that never got to make it home to their families or their brothers and sisters. So I'd like to mostly thank all those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our great country. Thank you.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our third and final guest, First Sergeant Duplessis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to first off start and thank God for the opportunity to be here today. Without the Savior's hand on top of me, I wouldn't be here to explain the story to you today. So I want to thank God, first of all, to Colonel Barr, Command Master Chief Swanson, to the commanders, to all the senior enlisted leaders and all the rest of you here today. I thank you for coming out today and taking the opportunity to listen to me and my fellow warriors here talk about the experiences we had to receive this Purple Heart. You didn't have to do so, and we all talked before. We appreciate the opportunity for you to do that for us. Before I forget, I want to thank HM2 Cromer for the invite, for asking me. I remember when he came, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I said, yeah, no problem. But I got back to my office, and I soon thought, and I was like, I don't really talk about this much. I was like, what am I going to say? Because I noticed when I was speaking with the fellow recipients here before, and I asked them, I said, how do people look at you when they notice your chest and what you having a Purple Heart in your chest? And we all three said the same thing, is people don't know how to react sometimes. People see you, they don't know what to say. Some of it's out of respect. They respecting you and don't want you to trudge up and bring up memories that probably got you to this point. And some just don't know what to say, so they don't say anything. So you find yourself not speaking about it and not talking about it because, like you said, this war is not about us. It's about the Marines and the people we serve with on our side that couldn't be here, that we're representing because we were fortunate enough to be here. So that struck me when I thought about it. I was like, I don't talk about it much. I didn't talk about the event when I went home with my wife when I made back from deployment. I told her the wave tops. Hey, something happened. I'm okay. I have all my extremities. I'm fine. And we moved on with life. We never recovered it again. I said the same thing to my family when I got back. Hey, I'm here. Everything is all fine. I'm well. We can move on with life. And that's pretty much how my family took it. To this opportunity until HM2 Cromer asked me to come and speak, I realized that I hadn't even had an opportunity to sit back and talk about what really happened. So this is the experience that I'm gonna tell you what happened with me. I originally, as a young Marine, E3 and below, going through Camp Lejeune, living my life, having a great, wonderful time in life, I always said, I joined right after 9/11, so I knew combat was coming. I knew it was a part of my future. But I always said, talking with my buddies, I was like, a Purple Heart is something I never want. And I used to say it all the time. I was like, that is one award I do not want. I said, Medal of Honor, fine. I mean, I did some great stuff. I might have died in the pursuit of it, but I did something great to save the Marines, and it'll be worthy of recognition. I thought about why I didn't want the Purple Heart, and I thought, and the only thing I can come up with is I didn't want to live with an injury. You can call it callous, you can call it selfish or whatever you want. I didn't want to be a person that lived with an injury. But as you can see today, in the two fellow recipients that we have here, we all have our extremities and everything is all fine. We're living with injuries that you can't see, and sometimes those are just as dangerous as the ones that you can't see from the outside. So. Stepping into my story, in 2016, I was attached to the Naval Academy, getting ready to PCS to Camp Lejeune. Right before I got ready to go, my field artillery chief that was in Camp Lejeune called me and said, hey, Gunny, just want you to know, I'm setting you with a unit that's getting ready to deploy, so be ready to hit boots on the ground, ready to run. I said, Roger that, Master Sergeant, ready to go. As soon as I got on deck, 2 weeks later, we locked on with 3rd Battalion, 6 Marines to prepare for the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit. It was a normal workup, just like any other workup. We're doing stuff, preparing for combat. About a quarter of the way through, we started hearing grumblings and forgive me sometimes, forget my words. We're having grumblings about possibly conducting a mission in Syria to replace a unit that had just got tasked from the West Coast to go out and do our artillery mission in Syria. So it was just hearsay at this point. Nobody knew for sure. So we go ahead and execute deployment. February 2017, we take off. In March, we end up in Israel for our first Liberty Port. We get off on the boat, having a good time, just expecting the normal MEU to go on. And at that point is when my command was called back in by the BLT leadership to say, hey, that mission we talked about is a go. It's really going to happen. So at that point from March on, we knew we were going to go in and conduct this mission. So we had already been preparing because we heard some grumblings, but at that point we were scrambling, just getting our stuff together because now you're near country, you're almost there. We got to make sure the final preparations are there. Fast forward 2 weeks, me and the CO, we go in advance party to scout the position that we're, so we go see the previous command that were already there to go put ourselves in position to see what we're getting into. So we were there about for 2 weeks, and the battery was scheduled to come in 2 weeks later. And once they received the command to come in, it was the same day that we got orders that we need to find a new position to place the battery once they get in. So as my Marines were coming in, they didn't get a chance to see them coming in, me and the CO were on a truck going out. We went out to a logistics base that was halfway between where we wanted to go and where we were coming from to end up being closer to the forward line of troops. That was the whole mission about moving to get closer to the forward line of troops. At that point, we switched vehicles from two pickup trucks to 2 Stryker armored vehicles with the Delta Force. I feel good about that. I was like, all right, got some armored vehicles, I'm gonna ride around in these soft shells, everything's gonna be okay. So we take off in this convoy to go find this new position, and we're gone for hours. 5 hours pass by, we're still moving, still going. We get out from position to position to check positions, can't find anything, this is not good, we need something else. Get back in the truck, we ride on. At one point, we decided we're gonna stop by another logistics base that we had, and we're gonna pick up our battalion commander and our other leadership to go scout this position with us as well. So we took a quick break, stopped there, picked up the battalion commander and the rest of the crew, got back in the vehicles. At this point, we had host nation military leading us in one of their soft shell pickup trucks, and we had 2 Strykers in the back. We pulled off about 5 minutes from where we were at the logistics base, and they stopped the trucks and said, we're not doing this anymore. We're not gonna lead this. Where you going is dangerous. We probably shouldn't go this way. That's basically what they were telling us, right? So we all had debates on the side of the road. We really gotta find this position. We really gotta get here. We gotta be close to the forward line of troops. So the decision was made, my vehicle would take the lead. We'd take the lead vehicle. At this point, I remember telling my CO before we left on deployment, I told him, I said, sir, I don't wanna get blown up in the vehicle. I remember saying that to him very clearly and looking in his eyes. I said, that's the one thing, I said, stepping out with my Marines on a patrol, walking, doing all that, that's great. I said, I don't want to be inside of a vehicle trapped and have to go to there, because I just didn't want to do it. You remember, everything will be fine, everything's all good, you're just paranoid. That's how people, talk about it. You want to think about the best things when you're going to combat. So going on that convoy, I already had it in my mind just a little bit. I remember 5 minutes after we had that conversation and the argument ensued, and we took charge. We pulled off through this little villa and got onto a dirt road, and we're heading, chugging along again. No sooner than I thought about, for the first time in 8 hours, I took a second, I thought about my wife. I thought about how some parts of Syria were actually beautiful. I was like, man, some of these places, as soon as I got beautiful out of my mind, boom, we hit IED. I was up in a turret on the backside of the Stryker, along with the driver, was the only one with his head sticking out of the vehicle. I'm sorry, it was one more turret member in the front with his head sticking out the vehicle. The blast happened in between the two of us, but it was more toward the back end where I was at. So the initial blast hit me, it rocked me, and I fell inside of the vehicle. When I opened my eyes, I remember my head, it felt like the pressure of somebody was trying to squeeze my head and cause it to pop. That's what my head felt like. My ears were ringing uncontrollably, and I couldn't hear anything. And like I said, the audible noise, just looking around, I see people's mouths moving, but I can't hear anything. For the first time in my career, I'm disorientated. I can't get my bearings, I can't get my balance. I'm trying to sit up in the vehicle, and I'm really realizing that I'm hurt. So the first thing I do is I reach on my body to see, is everything there? Because I didn't know. And once I realized that everything was there, it was about 30 seconds, which I feel like it was 30 seconds, of silence inside of the vehicle. We all looked at one another, because we were all still ducked, smoking inside. We got a thumbs up, and everybody was like, hey, all right, we all good. Everybody still made it. At that point, we assessed the vehicle, realized that it was pretty damaged, but we had enough parts of the vehicle to make it back to the logistics base that we had just left. So we packed the vehicle up, we called it in, say we had an IED here, we got back. This is where the story turns to where I made myself worse and where things got worse for me. So we initially got back, the battalion commander told me, hey, Gunny, you need to go see the medical officer. Roger that, sir. I go see him. At this point, you got a little tremors in your hand, but at this point I'm fine. I'm walking, got all my limbs, my hearing is coming back. I'm not disorientated anymore, so I feel fine. I feel like everything is all right. I go take a basic exam with the medical officer, and he determines that I have a concussion. This is where the Marine in me, the stubbornness in me, and the unwillingness to listen to medical officers came into play. Medical officers told the battalion commander, hey, Gunny should stay back for about 3 or 4 days and recuperate. I fought extremely hard for that not to happen, because it was the first day my Marines were coming in the country. They had not seen me yet, and the first experience that they got coming in the country, and this was my thought process, the first experience of them coming in the country was Gunny getting blown up. I didn't want the panic, the fear to set in. I didn't want the mission to be disoriented. They see the mission in the wrong way. So I said, I have to go back out there so the Marines can see me, to see that I'm okay. But all intents and purposes, I really wasn't. I really wasn't okay at the time. So went back out. We ended up supposed to going back to the camp that night. We never found a position. We got blown up, we had to turn around and come back. So we still needed a position to find. So we went to another camp, spent the night, and was pretty much all night up planning. I got about an hour's sleep. Turned around the next morning, we got out, another day of convoys, going out looking for a position. Finally found a position, we ride all the way back out to where this all started, back to where my Marines were. We were supposed to move that night, and we got the order to move. Something happened in the planning process, and we packed up, lined up on the road, getting ready to leave. We didn't leave, so we sat there for hours and hours waiting to execute this mission. We finally got the call, it was around midnight, 01, we got the call, the mission to go ahead and execute the convoy. At this point, now you got another night, a second night that I hadn't slept, that I barely been closing my eyes, that I'm up and still functioning. We pull into the new position. It's about 4 hours to prep to get into that position. We get there, and I'm still acting like nothing is wrong with me, functioning, getting up, running on the line. Around, at this time, we're shooting, so now I got concussive blasts constantly just going off around me as well. The agreement that I made with the medical officer was that if I failed 3 mace tests, that I had to come back. I had already failed 2 before we even got to this new position. So we finally get to the new position, and I failed my 3rd mace test, and that's when my corpsman made a decision for me. Gunny, you're done. And she went to the command, didn't ask me about it, went straight to the command and said, he's leaving. And they looked at me, brought me in, I cried. I cried because for the first time in my life, I felt, as a Marine, I wasn't invincible. The reality set in that I can be hurt. Any of us can be hurt. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's how Marines, we can't be hurt. You can't do this. And as a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps for the first time, I realized that my life was this close to being gone. So what I took out of all of this when I got back is now I'm living with the injuries that are not seen. I have been a part of NICO here, as well as before I left, before I came here, they have Intrepid Spirit down at Camp Lejeune. I've been doing that since almost day one, boots on the ground, but reluctantly. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to talk about it. Don't want to get counseling. I don't need this. All the stigmas that go along with, somebody trying to get an injury treated. I lived up to all of them. I'm not doing this. I don't need any therapy. I don't need somebody to look at me, and it made me worse. My memory continued to get worse. I have problems remembering words, as you can see up here now. I can't recall words sometimes. But the path that I've gone on from where it started to now has been a complete difference because I finally realized I need help. So that's what I took away from most important, and I tell my Marines to this day, as I see them, if they something going on with their body, I say, your body's telling you it's hurting for a reason. Listen to it. Don't be the old crusty 17, 18-year-old Marine that got stuff broken on you because you don't want to go get seen. All right, don't abuse it, but go get seen and be helped. So out of all of that, I took that experience and I said, you know what, I thank God I'm alive. I have all my extremities, but I'm living with wounds that will forever be there, I'm pretty sure, because of the decision I made that day not to go back and get help at that time trying to be Superman. I appreciate you for inviting me once again and listening to me for the short period, y'all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, First Sergeant. At this time, HM2 Rodriguez, HM2 Cromer, and HM2 Padilla will present a gift to the guest speakers on behalf of the Echo 5 Mess for honoring us with their presence today. We would now like to invite the Command Master Chief for closing remarks.
All right, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Wow, if that didn't touch you in your heart like it did me, probably need to get seen for that. First of all, I really want to thank these heroes sitting right here for the courage to come and share with us their testimony. I know it may have not been easy, but thank you. We definitely needed to hear that story here on Purple Heart Day. And I also would like to thank the Echo 5 Association. I'll tell you, these leaders, they took this ceremony very seriously, and if you want anything scheduled or coordinated to exact precision, the Echo 5 was absolutely did that. They took this whole thing, briefed early, came up with ideas to make sure that we had representation from each of the services, and even went and did personal invitations to the commanders. I'll tell you, thank you for your leadership, Echo 5. It does mean a lot, especially to this command and to all of our heroes. So thank you for that. The Purple Heart Award evolved into one of the most sacred and honored recognitions presented to service members who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. We are here today to honor these heroes sitting right here to my left, and also to honor all service members for their immeasurable sacrifice to our nation, who have also received the distinction of being awarded the Purple Heart. As we honor these patriots, we also must remember the families and loved ones who also support these service members and their tremendous sacrifices, to whom we are forever grateful. On behalf of all of the leadership, we would like to thank all those who have served and continue to serve our nation. Thank you all. Have a great day. One team.
Thank you, Master Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. We would like to thank you all for attending, and have a great day.